The world ended for me on a Tuesday afternoon. One moment I was on stage, the warm brass of my saxophone pressed to my lips, the crowd swaying to every note I poured into the air. The next, there was nothing but a deafening screech of tires, the crunch of metal and darkness that swallowed me whole. When I woke up, it wasn't just the pain that told me my life had changed forever. It was the absence of light. The hospital room smelled of antiseptic and stale coffee, but to me it was an endless black ocean. Doctors came and went, their voices heavy with pity. "Mr. Hale," they said, "I'm afraid your optic nerves are permanently damaged. There's no recovery." They expected me to cry, but I didn't. Musicians know silence, and I was in it now. My fingers still remembered the keys of my saxophone, but I didn't yet know that I would learn a different kind of music, one that didn't need sight. It was 3 nights later when it happened. I was lying in my hospital bed listening to the faint beep of the monitor when I heard it, a voice, young, calm, close to my ear. "You're not alone, David." I froze. "Who's there?" My hand fumbled for the call button. "You can press it if you want," the voice said, "but they won't see me." A shiver crept down my spine. I thought maybe the painkillers were messing with my head. This is some kind of hallucination. No, I'm real. And I've been where you are. I know what it's like to wake up and find the world gone. I wanted to scream, but something in the way he said it kept me still. His tone wasn't threatening. It was familiar, safe. The next day, I was discharged. My manager, Carl, was waiting to take me home. His voice was cheerful, too cheerful. "We'll get through this, Dave. You just focus on resting. I'll handle the business." I didn't notice it then, but there was something slick in his tone, like he was already in control of more than he should be. When we reached my apartment, I fumbled for the keys. That's when I heard it again. The young man's voice, clear as day, inside my living room. "Careful with him," he said. "He's not your friend." My breath caught. "Where are you?" I whispered. "Right here," he said, his voice drifting closer. "And I'm going to help you, but you're going to have to trust me." That night, as I lay in bed, the fear didn't keep me awake. The curiosity did. Who was he? Why me? And why did his voice feel like a lifeline I didn't know I needed? The next morning, I almost forgot I was blind. I walked into the kitchen without a cane, guided by his voice. And then he told me something that made my blood run cold. "They're already stealing from you, David, and I can prove it." I didn't know his name yet. I didn't know what he looked like. But when he spoke, it felt as if the room leaned in to listen with me. "Who are you?" I asked while making my way to the coffee maker, my fingers brushing the counter's edge. "Someone who's been in the dark," he replied, "and someone who learned that darkness doesn't mean helplessness." He told me to check my desk, not physically. He described exactly where to reach. My hands slid over the stack of unopened mail. "That one," he said. "Open it." I tore it carefully. Inside was a letter from the booking agency. My heart tightened as I listened to the numbers. The payment listed was almost double what Carl had told me. "They're lying to you," he said. "Carl is taking his cut, and then some." I sat at my kitchen table, gripping the paper. "Why should I believe you? You could be anything, anyone." "You already believe me," he said softly, "because you feel it in your gut." Over the next week, he became my shadow. I learned his name, Lucas. He'd been a jazz pianist, just 22, when an accident took both his sight and his life. He never told me exactly why he stayed in this world, but he spoke of it like unfinished music, a song that still needed its final notes. He guided me through phone calls, warning me when voices shifted from friendly to predatory. He described details I couldn't see, the twitch in Carl's voice when he lied, the hush in the room when a cousin brought up my finances, and he was never wrong. One night, as I sat in my practice room, the saxophone warm in my hands, Lucas said something that sent a chill through me. "They're not just taking your money, they're planning to take everything. Your rights, your home. They think you're weak now. They think blindness makes you powerless." I tightened my grip on the instrument. "Then we're going to prove them wrong." That was the first time I heard him laugh. A low, approving sound. "Good, because we've got work to do." From that moment, our days had a rhythm. I'd practice and Lucas would read my emails, replay conversations in my head, point out the signs of deception. Slowly, I began to notice things on my own. The hesitation in Carl's voice when I asked about contracts, the way my sister avoided talking about my bank account. Still, I needed proof. Lucas promised we'd get it. And one rainy Thursday night, he told me exactly how. "Tomorrow," Lucas said, "Carl is meeting with your cousin in your living room. They'll think you're asleep, you won't be, and we'll catch every word." I didn't sleep that night. The rain tapped against the windows like a quiet metronome, marking the hours until the trap would be set. Lucas was calm, too calm. "You're ready," he whispered, as if he could hear my pulse hammering in my chest. "Just do exactly as I say." Morning came, grey and heavy. Carl arrived first, his cologne reaching me before his words. "How you holding up, buddy?" he asked in that syrupy tone that always made my stomach turn. 10 minutes later, my cousin Danielle came in. She was family by blood, but lately she felt like a stranger wearing a familiar face. They settled in the living room. I sat in the adjacent study. The door cracked just enough for Lucas to describe their body language. Carl leaned forward, his voice low. "We move now. His mind's not right after the accident. We push for guardianship and everything becomes ours to manage." Danielle's voice was sharper. "And the house?" "The house too," Carl said without hesitation. "Once it's signed over, we can sell. He won't even know what hit him." I gripped the small recorder Lucas had told me to hide earlier. Every word, every poisonous plan was being captured. My fingers ached from holding it so tightly. "Wait," Danielle said suddenly. "What if he finds out?" Carl laughed. "He won't. Blind, shaken, and grieving his music career, he's no threat." Lucas's voice brushed against my ear like a cold wind. "Now you know. But hearing it isn't enough. You need witnesses." The next part was risky. Lucas told me to invite them to lunch under the pretense of catching up. He wanted them to feel secure, comfortable enough to repeat their plans. That afternoon, I asked them to come back the next day. They agreed without suspicion. That night, Lucas and I worked out every detail. He guided my hands as I set up recorders in the dining room, in the hallway, even in the kitchen where they might whisper. It felt like preparing for a performance, except the audience would be the police. As I lay in bed, Lucas spoke again, softer this time. "I've waited a long time to do something that mattered after I died. Helping you. It feels like finishing the song I left behind." "Why me?" I asked. "Because you're still fighting," he said. "And because I think I needed to remember what it felt like to stand on a stage, even if it's through you." The next day would decide everything. If we failed, they'd strip me of everything I had left. If we succeeded, Carl and Danielle's world would come crashing down. As I tightened my tie the next morning, Lucas whispered the words that would carry me into battle. "Let's take back your life." Carl and Danielle arrived right on time, their laughter echoing down the hall as if they already owned the place. I greeted them with a smile that wasn't real, guided them to the dining table, and let the coffee and small talk do their work. Lucas was beside me, invisible but steady, narrating every twitch of their faces. "Ease them in," he murmured. "Give them space to think they're safe." Half an hour in, Carl leaned back and set down his cup. "We've been thinking," he began, "about your future. We'd like to help, take the burden off your shoulders. We can manage your finances, make sure you're comfortable." Danielle jumped in. "The house would be easier to maintain if it were in our names. You wouldn't have to worry about repairs or taxes." I tilted my head, feigning thought. "And in return?" Carl smirked. "Peace of mind. For all of us." The words hung in the air like the last sour note of a bad song. Lucas gave me a single sharp nod. "Now," he said. I slid my hand under the table and clicked the small remote in my pocket. From the kitchen, the faint beep of the hidden recorder syncing to my phone confirmed everything was live. My attorney, waiting just outside, received the signal and stepped in. Not alone. 2 uniformed officers followed, their presence snapping the air like a drumbeat. Carl's smile faltered. "What's this?" "Just a little encore," I said calmly. "You've been performing for months. Thought you'd like to hear your own set list." The attorney played the recording. Every greedy word, every betrayal spilled into the room, their voices trembling now under the weight of evidence. Danielle's face went pale. Carl's jaw tightened, but his eyes darted like a trapped animal. The officers moved in, cuffs glinting under the chandelier. "Carl Peterson, Danielle Wright, you're under arrest for fraud, attempted theft, and conspiracy." Lucas's voice was warm now, almost proud. "That's your standing ovation." As they were led out, Carl tried to speak. I didn't let him. The door closed, and with it, months of poison left my home. I felt lighter, not just in body but in spirit. That night I sat in the quiet living room, the silence almost foreign. "Lucas," I called softly. "I'm here," he replied. "You're free to stay now. I mean, we could—" He cut me off gently. "No, my work with you is done. Someone else needs me." I swallowed hard. "Where?" "Doesn't matter," he said. "But you'll be fine. Play again, live again, and when you're on stage, hit one note just for me." A cold breeze brushed my cheek, the ghost of a hand, the whisper of a friend, and then he was gone. I sat there for a long time, saxophone resting on my lap, fingers finding the keys by memory. The first note I played rose into the night like a thank you the world would never hear, except for him. If this story touched your heart, I'd love to hear from you. Do you believe Lucas was truly there, guiding me through every choice? Or was it all just the echo of a desperate mind finding its own way? Have you ever felt the presence of someone you've lost, steering you when you needed it most? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your experiences matter more than you know. And if this journey kept you here until the end, please give the video a like. Subscribe for more stories that stir the soul, and share it with someone who might need a little reminder that we're never truly alone. Thank you for spending this time with me. And until our next story, take care of your heart and listen closely. You never know who might be playing that note just for you.